Moving right along, welcome Stefan Hollack from Primaned PMWeb, who's going to tell us about ZEISS, their most recent deployment with ZEISS opticians. Stefan is a project control specialist with Primaned, the European agent for PMWeb. In addition to the many certifications he holds in project controls, Stefan also holds a PhD in chemistry from Wageningen University and an MSc in chemistry from the University of California, Berkeley. Stefan will be telling us about their recent deployment at ZEISS. Lucas, can you kill your camera, please?
Sure.
Let me share the screen.
Over to you, Stefan.
Yes. Let me see. Can you see my screen? Let's do this.
Not yet.
Yeah, better. Otherwise, you see my webcam twice. So, thanks for sticking around till the end.
Still can't see your screen.
I'll use this 15 minutes to tell you how
we can't see your screen, Stefan.
Sorry?
You're not sharing your screen.
Oh. Let me try it again. Oh, yes, I have to click share again.
And you're not last. We have Luke after this as well from every file. A late edition.
Sorry. single last. So.
No, you're second to last.
Wow, we have quite some more to say. Well, I will stick to the 15 minutes. I will set my timer now. Yes, let's do that. So you see my screen, you hear me well?
Yeah, great, thank you.
Great. So I will use this 15 minutes to tell you how we use PMWeb to help the real estate department of Cultsize to gain project insights. Well, I don't have to introduce myself, but not all of you might know Primaned. We are a consultancy organization specialized in supporting organizations in the field of project controls. And gaining project insight often goes hand in hand with implementing a tool. But when helping organization, we actually always focus on three main aspects: people, processes, and tools. And people might be even the most important one of those three during every implementation, since the success of any organizational change lies in getting the people on board with the solution. So making sure all stakeholders are involved, get the right training, etc. And tooling is there to support your business processes and to make your life much easier in the end. Well, for each project we look which tool fits best. And in the case of Cultsize, we chose PMWeb in combination with Power BI for the reporting, but more on that later. First, maybe a small introduction on the organization. You might know Cultsize from the lenses. It's a company originally founded in Germany and operating in the field of optics and optoelectronics. But it has grown to a worldwide organization now with over 300 locations. And that's actually where we come in. Because well, when organizations grow, it's getting more and more complicated to get portfolio insight in your assets and in your projects. So the real estate department of Cultsize wanted to create a harmonized brand experience in real estate. Well, and major requirements to obtain this is that you need to have a centralized strategic control over your assets and your projects. Also data management, single source of truth, and standardized processes are all prerequisites for obtaining this business need. And in the end, to optimize your real estate services and costs. So our approach in supporting ZEISS in obtaining these goals was to introduce PMWeb, a global real estate portfolio management tool. PMWeb was the most suitable one, mainly due to the strong asset management module and the workflow capabilities. And for those who don't know PMWeb yet, PMWeb is the 100% web-based solution for portfolio and project management that is able to cover the full plan, build, and operate lifecycle of construction projects. And further, for the approach, we decided to have a staged implementation. So no big bang implementation. We believe that if you gradually introduce the system and processes to the organization, this gives much better results when looking at user acceptance. So well, today I will explain the output and the results for these staged approach. So well, our starting point was actually an asset management report, a real estate report with over 400 pages. It was created in 2016, and it took literally a few months to create this report because all the information was scattered around the world. So our aim was to recreate this report, improve it also, but now by centralizing all required information in PMWeb as the single source of truth. For that, we use the asset management module, and we create a hierarchical structure. As you can see on the right, in PMWeb you can make locations, buildings, floors, and spaces. And what we also did is we took all the leases and imported them into the system and connected them to the locations. You can attach documents, so we attached all the contracts to these leases. And we had to make some decisions because, well, all assets were managed locally up to then. And we had to make some decisions on what to register, but also how to categorize, for instance, space types, or what will our definitions be for gross and net space. And this, of course, very important to, in the end, be able to roll up the information and give you the portfolio overview. So, well, we did this, and actually one of the biggest outputs of this first stage was the fully update, redesign, and automation of this real estate report. So instead of a few months, we could now create a report within 1 minute. And it creates the same printable report. But only now all information comes directly out of PMWeb, and all formatting is predefined. So no effort is needed in the design. The ZEISS real estate branding for internal and external communication was automatically fully applied. And because we arranged on lower level how you register your information, we were able to show on global level the number of leased and owned locations, but also the floor area by space type, for instance. Well, for each region, more detailed information is visible, and for each location, on the right you see it. For each location, you have an overview of the most important information of this specific location. Well, great thing about this report as the start of an implementation is that it's directly fully accepted in the organization. People know the report, they don't even see it from PMWeb if you don't tell them. And we rolled out a structure of regional managers and site representatives, and we taught them how to add information into PMWeb. So they could fill the gaps, and well, with this output, we had our first early adopters working in the tool at this stage. But of course, well, we have all this information now in the tool, so we could also create more dynamic reports. So that's what we did. We created BI dashboards directly from the information in PMWeb. Well, here you see one of those dashboards, and well, if you've seen Power BI, you know you can dynamically click on things. You can, for instance, select a region, and then all other information is adjusting to this region. Well, here you could also select one of the leases, and the nice thing about this is you can find information here about the lease, but you can also click on the link. It will take you directly to the lease in PMWeb, and there you can download all information necessary, the contract or anything. Or if you have the user rights, you can also add information to the lease. But for management, we added an important feature to be able to compare regions and countries. So on the left and the right, you have the same view, but then you can compare, for instance, the Americas and Europe, Middle East, Asia, Africa. And that's important because now you can see the difference in the rent per square meter or the occupancy costs per square meter, those kind of things. So you can understand it's much easier to make decisions on real estate based upon these data. Well, this was the first step, and well, there are 3 stages, but I will collect stage 2 and 3 together to be ready in time, of course. And those stages, the aim here was first of all to organize all incoming demands worldwide. So all new leases, new buildings, but also requesting a new table, for instance. Everything is collected and then should follow a process with gates and approvals. And then, of course, we also want portfolio project management. So we want the cost management and document management connected to those projects. So what we first needed is to design a standardized form and connect this to an approval workflow that is triggered by information in this form. Well, the nice thing about PMWeb is that you can quite easily create an out-of-the-box tailor-made form. So you can see the top part of a bigger form, and all users, all guest users are able to go here, fill out the information, add some notes or attachments, and then send it out. And PMWeb will automatically select the right approver for this demand form. Well, and this is actually stage 2 then, the pre-demand, the collection of all the pre-demands. And while users, well, a lot more users experienced a small part of PMWeb, we continued with stage 3, where we had this gated process of all accepted projects. They should go through a gated process, and every gate, they have to import deliverables and then start a workflow. And this workflow approvals are also very easy to create in PMWeb, because drag and drop the roles, the branches, the rules, and here you see an example where, depending on the budget, different people are selected to approve this specific workflow. So actually the nice thing about this is I think that in the first place we help, but because it's so easy, the company can take over the work of maintaining the database. Well, and this is also the place where we started cost management and actually went on with document management modules. So important results of these 2 stages are that now all demand projects are initiated and managed in PMWeb, which makes all actions and decisions transparent and auditable. And we created insight in the full project lifecycle. So we also decided to create some dashboards here. So this is an overview, for instance, to track progress of the demand project. You see a list of projects, and every stage you see the percentage complete, the progress, depending on the deliverables and stuff. And then you have these icons, green, yellow, and red, that indicate if the gate is approved, still pending, or how do you say it, rejected. Well, since we also started with cost management, we could even go further and keep track on all budgets, down payments, commitments, and actuals. Some of them were directly generated in PMWeb, and others were imported via an interface because they already have another cost management tool for, in this case, the actuals. So, well, this is actually where we are now at Cultsize, and the next step is to work further on the strategic decision making on CAPEX level by tracking changes and forecasts over time, and on OPEX level to create KPI dashboards with typical asset management KPIs like the churn rate, the vacancy rate, those kind of things. So to wrap it up, I hope I was able to show you a glimpse on how we helped ZEISS to centralize and standardize and also optimize their information, processes and outputs, which resulted in faster decision making based on this gated process that I showed you, and which provided the transparency and data management necessary to really start creating this harmonized brand experience that they wanted. And lastly, to be able to make these strategic decisions that leads to this optimized services and cost.
Thank you, Stefan.
Wait 1 second, you might notice that I mainly showed the output during this talk, but actually the backbone is the standardization, optimization of the input in PMWeb and the stakeholders that are trained. So I think the output is just a reward and nice for me to use in this presentation, but I think it's always important to focus on the input. Well, garbage in, garbage out. I think that's
absolutely
a good ending message.
Well, thank you for that presentation. ZEISS is such a big name and they have so many different properties. And I don't know of another PPM tool that's optimized for real estate management the way that PMWeb is. And the full range of functionality of the PMWeb solution is really staggering to behold when you get into it, because it really does do everything. So please get in touch with Stefan if you have any questions about PMWeb.